some very worrying news. Nelson Mandela Bay is fast approaching day zero. There are fears that taps are going to run dry very, very soon. The city's main water source, Kouga Dam, is running dangerously low at the moment, and residents say municipal bungling is to blame for the crisis. So let's get some clarity on where we are with this and how maybe we can avoid day zero. Benoit Leroy from the SA Water Chamber. Bonjour, Benoit. Good morning. Thanks for your time in joining us. So day zero, this is nothing to be making jokes about. When we say that water is running out, we mean that literally. Just how bad is this?
Morning, Gareth, Tamela, and the viewers. Look, it's a serious issue. It's not a crisis. It's an absolute catastrophe. But I think one needs to contextualize that it is and was inevitable, because we've had the drying up of that part of the country, in the western parts of the country, since 1982. We didn't understand then that it was induced by climate change. But we have the numbers, and the numbers reside in the Water Research Commission, which is owned by national government's Department of Water Sanitation. So we know this. But, you know, water is really taken for granted. It's extremely cheap, and there's under-recoveries. And, you know, when you have collapse of governance and political turmoil, the stuff below the ground and outside the city and the dams is the last of your thoughts. However, if you put into context that most of the water actually comes from the Kouga Dam in the Free State, and that interbasin transfer was built several decades ago. I'm talking 3 to 4 decades ago. And that volume of water is about 190 megalitres a day. Originally it was 70. So megalitres a day or million litres a day. The city is using about 285 at the moment. It was over 350. So it's only reduced its consumption from about 350 to 285. It has 190 that's coming from the Free State, and that dam is full. So the Nooit Gedag system that the city runs was put into an extension mode from 70 to 190 megalitres a day. It's supposed to be online last year and got delayed whilst I think the council was fighting amongst itself. It's well broadcast. And national government intervened, and there was delays, and that is now online. So there's 190 megalitres coming into the system. But we've known about the slow onset disaster, and it's 5 to 7 years, the drought there. And I actually mentioned to the mayor a couple of months ago at the Water Summit that this is the new normal. What are you going to do about it? You can imagine the fear in the eyes. So we have roughly 2/3 of the water coming in, but 40% of the water is not revenue water. So whatever water we put in the system, 40% disappears. And of that 40%, roughly 29 to 30 percentage points are physical water losses. The rest is there's a huge amount of theft and billing issues. So we have a leaking bucket.
And how do we fix this leaking bucket, Benoit? I mean, how do we, there's a well-known, well-reported, you're right in saying, bungling in the municipality. You say this is going back all the way to the early 1980s, but day zero is approaching. So before I say goodbye to you, how do we stop this? Is there anything we can do in the short term? There obviously will be long-term plans. Short term, how do we stop this from happening, or at least mitigate the damage?
A communication campaign has only been embarked upon seriously recently, so we need to communicate. The municipality, firstly, cannot ask people to reduce their consumption if they haven't reduced their non-revenue water. So they have to demonstrate that they are, in actual fact, part of the initiative of reducing the water losses in the system. We need a communication that Cape Town had that was very, very effective. And there's technology available to be able to rifle shot the big leaks in the system, so that this can be rolled out immediately. I know we're late in the day, it's going to run out of water, and also look at transferring water on an emergency basis. So using the, let's say, the army approach of building temporary lines to feed the parts of the city that can use the 190 megalitres a day from Nooit Gedag. Everybody's talking and nobody's actually doing anything. So we have to force the action. I know business is very active, but it has limited mandate in actually doing this, trying to find ways, and we're all busy in this trying to find ways. So we need to communicate, we need to put emergency measures so that we can keep the city ticking over and address the leaking bucket as an absolute urgent thing. It's been in IDPs for years and nothing has actually been done. So we have to do that and communicate daily what's being done, how we're doing, etc., so that we can keep the entire, not the entire city will run out, it's only parts of the city that's not connected to Nooit Gedag that will run out. So I think communication is probably the bottom line. heavily engineered solutions take half a decade to a decade to put into place. So that's not going to happen.
It's the long-term solution. It's the short-term solution, which I think you're absolutely bang on, is the communication behind this as well. We're going to continue to stay on top of this as we speak to the various organizations and departments responsible for water in Nelson Mandela Bay. Benoit Leroy joining us from the SA Water Chamber this morning.